What if I told you that beneath the sun-scorched plains of Turkey lies a city that was never meant to be found? A place where 20,000 people vanished into the earth itself, not fleeing, not hiding, living, for months, perhaps years, in absolute darkness. In 1963, a man in Derinkuyu knocked down a wall in his basement. Behind it, he found a tunnel, then another, and another. What he discovered would rewrite everything we thought we knew about ancient survival, because this wasn't a tomb. It was a refuge from something so terrifying that an entire civilization chose to bury themselves alive. The Cappadocia region of central Turkey is a landscape that seems carved by gods. Fairy chimneys of volcanic rock pierce the sky. Wind-sculpted valleys twist like frozen rivers. But beneath this otherworldly surface, something impossible was waiting. When that wall crumbled in 1963, the homeowner expected to find a simple cellar. Instead, his flashlight beam fell upon carved stone steps descending into shadow. Steps worn smooth by countless feet. Steps that went down and down and down. What he had stumbled upon was Derinkuyu, the deep well, the largest underground city ever discovered, 18 stories deep, over 200 feet into the bedrock, 11,000 individual rooms connected by miles of tunnels so narrow you have to crawl, ventilation shafts plunging into darkness, wells drawing water from sources no one has ever located, stables for livestock, wine presses, churches with vaulted ceilings carved from living rock. And most chilling of all, massive circular stones, rolling doors, each weighing over 1,000 pounds, designed to seal the city from the inside, to lock something out. Who builds a city underground? The official answer will tell you it was the Phrygians around the 8th century BCE, or perhaps earlier. No one truly knows. The soft volcanic tuff made excavation possible, they say, a practical solution to a harsh climate. But that explanation crumbles when you walk those tunnels yourself, because Derinkuyu wasn't expanded over centuries. It was planned. The ventilation system alone is a masterwork that modern engineers struggle to explain. 52 shafts, some plunging all 18 levels, ensuring fresh air reached the deepest chambers, the mathematics required, the understanding of airflow and pressure. This wasn't trial and error. This was desperation meeting genius. And here's what keeps archaeologists awake at night. Derinkuyu isn't alone. Beneath Cappadocia, there are over 200 underground cities, many connected by tunnels stretching for miles. Kaymaklı, Özkonak, Mazuköy, an entire subterranean civilization networked beneath our feet. Some tunnels are still unexplored, too narrow, too unstable, or perhaps still sealed. The question isn't just who built these cities. It's why did they need to? Historians offer comfortable explanations: religious persecution, early Christians hiding from Roman soldiers, protection from Arab raids in the medieval period, shelter from the unforgiving Anatolian winters. But these theories fracture under scrutiny. 20,000 people don't retreat underground for a passing army. The cities had everything needed for long-term habitation: schools, meeting halls, even rooms that appear designed for communal gatherings. Some archaeologists have found evidence of occupation spanning months. What were they hiding from that would make the sun itself an enemy? Local legends speak of something else. Stories passed down through generations, whispered in dying languages. They speak of the sky people, beings that came from above, from which there was no escape under open air. The old stories claim that those who hid survived. Those who remained on the surface did not. Dismiss it as folklore if you wish. But ask yourself this: why would a culture develop such specific mythology about retreating underground? Then there are the doors. Those massive stone discs, positioned at every level. They could only be moved from the inside, and each one had a small hole at chest height, too small to climb through, but large enough for a spear. These weren't just locks. They were kill zones. Someone came down those tunnels, and the people of Derinkuyu made sure they couldn't come back up. Here's what archaeologists won't tell you because they don't have answers. The lowest levels of Derinkuyu have never been fully excavated. Some chambers are still filled with debris, possibly intentionally sealed. Ground-penetrating radar suggests there may be additional levels below what we've discovered. The digging may go even deeper. What's down there? And why, when Derinkuyu was finally abandoned, sometime around the 8th century CE, did its inhabitants fill certain tunnels with rock and clay? Not collapsed, filled, deliberately, permanently. What were they making sure stayed buried? In 2015, during routine excavation, archaeologists discovered a tunnel leading from Derinkuyu toward another underground city 5 miles away. The tunnel is large enough to walk upright, which means two separate cities, miles apart, both buried hundreds of feet underground, were connected. They've explored less than a mile of this passage. The rest remains sealed by ancient rockfalls, or perhaps by something more deliberate. No one knows where it truly leads. No one knows what might still be down there. Today, you can visit Derinkuyu, walk its tunnels, touch its walls, stand in chambers where 20,000 people once breathed recycled air, and listen to the darkness. Tour guides will tell you about Phrygian ingenuity, about Christian refugees, about practical solutions to difficult times. But stand alone in those deepest chambers, where the weight of 200 feet of earth presses down above you, and ask yourself, what could be so terrible that this felt safer? Because somewhere in the unmapped tunnels beneath Cappadocia, in cities still undiscovered and passages still sealed, the answer is waiting. And perhaps some mysteries were buried for a reason. Perhaps some doors were meant to stay closed. To this day, 40% of Derinkuyu remains unexplored. More ancient mysteries, more unanswered questions, more secrets the world forgot. Subscribe now.